Hey houseplant friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute. I'm doing well. I took a very long, unexpected break from every part of the internet, but I'm happy to be back for December and hopefully the foreseeable future. I have a really interesting video today, I think, but before we get into that, I'd like to thank ZINFF for sponsoring today's video. ZINFF is the company that makes these wonderful glasses. These are my brand new pair. They are my reading glasses. I love them very, very much. If you're interested in this pair or any of the other pairs that I wear on this channel, every single pair of glasses you see me wearing is from ZINFF, and you can check them out at the link in the description. Make sure you use code Ashley at checkout for 50% off frames and 20% off lenses. I also really quickly would like to thank all of my members, all of you guys who've like stuck around through me not posting for like a month. I just really appreciate you for being really sweet and caring. I've gotten a lot of nice messages of people being like, hey, where are you at? Are you okay? And I'm good. I just like needed space from the internet. But I wrote out this whole video and I've been turning it over in my head for like a month, okay? And I am ready to talk about it. Let's get into this video about why you do not need plants, basically. So I actually have kind of like a whole thesis for this video. I was doing some like soul searching and self-rediscovery this month. Why do I like plants? Like what do I get out of plant collecting? Besides the fact that they look pretty, right? I always feel like I need more plants. Like since I've joined the community, it's about growing your collection, 200 plus plant collection, 500 plus plant collection. And it's like, where is this mentality coming from? Why do we feel like we constantly need more? And why isn't there really a whole community centered around just keeping them? Like it's always just get more, get more, get more, and I don't know where that comes from. So I feel like that whole thing comes from searching for happiness. Why do I collect plants? They make me happy. Why do they make me happy? This was really the question I was seeking to answer by writing this video, is like, why do plants make me happy? What's happening here? I wrote down a couple different reasons. I think that we feel like we need more plants because of FOMO. We have fear of missing out. If someone else has this crimson princess and they're happy with it and they show in a video that they're happy with this plant, well then I want that plant too. I want to be happy. I want to grow this plant, which is pretty. I want what this other person has. Spending money also releases dopamine into your brain. Buying things for most people makes them happy. Have a bad day, go get something, right? Go get ice cream, go get clothes, go get lunch, like go get a drink. Like all those things cost money. You're doing those things to make you feel better, but all you're really doing is spending money, right? You're replicating others' happiness as well. Like I said, like if you see someone with something and they're happy with it and they're telling other people that they're happy with it, then it's like, oh, well, I want that as well, because I want to be happy. And then showing others our own happiness. So we get the thing, right? You're like, oh, I got this crimson princess. Everyone, look at how happy I am now. I have this thing. And then it's just a cycle and it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. That is inherently where it's not necessarily about having more, right? Like having the most, like having hundreds of plants. I think it's about, we see someone happy with something and we think the plant's pretty, right? Because that's not something we can ignore here. Like there are ugly plants. The plants that we want are the plants that we think individually as people are nice and pretty. Therefore, we see them make other people happy and we therefore want them into our house. We want them in our environment because then that will make us happy. We can tell other people about this new plant and we've spent money, and all these different things I think work together to bring us the dopamine happiness release of plant collecting. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for this. If you want to feel like you fit in with the plant community, you need certain plants. And that is like so messed up. I have said on my channel so many times, hey, even if you have one plant or two plants or whatever, like you're still a plant parent, you're still a plant mom. You don't need a Monstera alba or even a Begonia maculata whitei or any Hoya. Like you are enough just as you are, even if you don't have any plants. Maybe you can't own real plants, but you like the idea. Like you are still welcome in the community, but there's a lot of pressure to buy those things, to own those things, to have what others have and to look nice on Instagram and take care of your plant. You can't like what others don't like, which I think is why we see so much like calathea hate all the time. People are like, oh, what's a plant that everyone hates? Ha ha ha, Calathea. Calathea are fine, they're a plant. They don't do anything wrong. They just exist and are a little bit picky, okay? But that doesn't mean like you can't not like them. I like begonias more than I like any other genus, but I can't talk about begonias a whole lot because other people don't like them. My content won't get views, and then, you know, views are my job, so that's the cycle that I am in. But if you like what other people don't like, you're liking something that is unpopular, unlikable, and then by proxy, completely problematic. And so you're like promoting this anti-idea to everyone else's main idea, which is Hoyas, philodendrons, anthuriums, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to have what other people say makes them unhappy. New people into the plant community won't want to have anti-happiness. They want happiness. And so therefore they're going to seek out these plants that they see give people happiness. There's also some underlying fundamentals here that I've talked about with other creators in the past, and it's honestly like challenged my own thoughts and opinions about plant collecting in general. Like, plant collecting is pretty much inherently classist. You need money to be able to buy things to get the happiness that you are seeing other people have. You don't need to have certain plants to be in the plant community. But you might not feel like that. You might feel like you're not in the community because you don't have an albo or a pink princess or whatever, because these things aren't accessible to you because they are highly inaccessible plants. When I joined the community, it was like I was just repeating what I heard. This was rare, I said it was rare. Someone said this, I said this, because I didn't know anything. I'm 2.5, almost 3 years into the plant community now, and I see things and I know better. I know the Begonia maculata whitei is not rare. Monstera albo is not rare. Like, these plants, and I don't know, the idea of rare in general is also this thing. I personally do like begonias that are more hard to come by because generally they're prettier. However, I am in a privileged position of being a content creator who gets people to send me things. Like, if I wouldn't have half of the plants that I have right now if I wasn't friends with companies that wanted to send me things. The other day, Heather sent me like 13 different Hoyas just for my birthday, just to be nice, just for fun. Those are things I could never afford. So my position is a little bit different, but it is great because I get to show you guys a wide variety of gorgeous plants that I otherwise would not have access to. However, there is an inherent financial gatekeep to collecting plants. Like, if your goal is to have more plants and to try to collect what is hard to find, unless you find people who are willing to do trades instead of taking money for it, you're gonna have a really hard time getting into that community. You really kind of need to have an in. So I wanted to define, in my opinion, what I think rare versus common plants are, because I think that these two things right now specifically are just like inciting a lot of problems in the community. These titles. So we have rare, which I feel like is pseudo or artificial. There are some plants out there that are genuinely rare. Over time, they will not be in collection. Like, the more plants places like botanicas get in, they'll propagate them and make more, and eventually we'll have thousands of Begonia Julau and Darth Vadariana, and they'll be sold for $15 to $20 each, which is amazing. It's accessible. I love what botanicas does. Rare plants are typically super duper unattainable and expensive, otherwise known as rare, hard to get because you need to have the money to get them or know someone. Low-key classist. Rare plants are low-key classist, and it's a club that you can't join in without a special privilege. Basically, I only get to collect lots of the plants that I have because I was able to get an Ilsamanii, because someone who watched my channel saw that I wanted one and decided to do a trade with me. That is not a normal circumstance that would just happen to someone. That is a privileged situation that I was in, and now that I have that plant, I've been able to trade it for multitudes of other plants that I have wanted for a long time without having to pay any money for it. And rare plants are also perceived as special. And then we have common plants, which common is for everyone. They're highly attainable, very inexpensive, can be extremely cheap or free, and the perceived notion of common plants is that they are not special, which is my problem with that label. This was something I want to talk about because, like, I feel like, well, there are so many different types of people in the community, even people here who I haven't mentioned, types of people and trends that I've noticed. There are some inherent collector issues here that I think are really harmful that I wanted to discuss. Then we'll kind of get to my new thoughts about plant collecting. I don't know, everything about that. These collector issues are a really big problem because when you get into collecting plants, no one really tells you the negative parts. I've tried to make some more like PlanTEA types of videos on my channel, which this is another PlanTEA video. These videos are really focused on more real sides of the plant community. And if you'd like I'll try to link the playlist if I remember in the link in the description. These collector issues are kind of frustrating. Like one of the biggest ones is going into debt. Lots and lots of people spend a lot of money on plants. Like when you guys see people spend money on plants, there are some people who can genuinely afford to shell out that cash. But most of the time when you're seeing people buy these like $16,000, $20,000 plants, like they're paying through Klarna or they're financing it or they've worked out a payment plan with a seller specifically. People aren't just buying these things up front. It's like buying a car. And the hard thing with that is that by the time you pay it off, your plant might be dead or you might not even have it anymore, but you're still gonna have that debt. And also trade debts. These are where you trade someone something or someone trades you something. And then when you grow something else out, you send it to them. Well, now you're in debt. Debt's not a good thing. We don't like debt. It shouldn't become a friendly, fun thing to do. In my opinion, some debt's good, builds your credit, but we don't want useless, needless debt for no reason, just for fun. You know what I mean? Another big problem is gatekeeping. Oh, you have this, but you don't have this. Like you can't, like that's not a real mint monstera, that's the mosaic virus. Or I don't know, like just these things where people, like that's not a sport variegated monstera, that's just sick. Like, and really it's literally a sport variegated, like there was someone locally, I think it was like a year ago, where someone found a sport variegated monstera here and they reached out to me about it and they were like, hey, look at this really sick monstera at the store, like sick isn't ill. And I was like, oh, like, are you gonna get that? And they were like, no, someone on Facebook told me not to. And I was like, did you share where it was at? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, you have to go back and get that. That's not sick. That's literally a sport variegated monstera. And it was fully an Aurea. This isn't good enough. You don't have 100 or more plants, you're not a collector. You don't water your plants with leca or pon or whatever, you're a bad plant parent. You don't do this, you're a bad plant parent. And that will be a thing in every community ever. Gatekeeping is not something that's gonna easily go away. But the higher up you get into these collector plants, the more prevalent it becomes. There's also a lot of bullying and gossip in the plant community. A lot of people don't like to pay any attention to it, which I think is good, but there are certainly times when people are just fully harassed. I've been harassed quite a few times. Just because some people just don't like me, and that's okay. You don't have to like me, but that doesn't mean that I deserve getting pooped on. I mean, other people in the plant communities, they're getting pooped on or having their auctions ruined for literally no reason, or I don't know. There's just lots of this. If someone's a popular page or a bigger creator or even a small creator, that just opens them up to that kind of a thing. More of a real issue here is false scarcity. I talk about this a lot, but there was this like Facebook group, this about Monstera obliqua, and someone suggested that they should all stop selling Monstera obliqua for the time being because the price of it had gone down so much that they were, you know, devaluing the plant. They literally said something like, there's no reason to devalue this plant anymore than it already has been. And everyone was like, whoa! Okay, you can't just create false scarcity like that. That's super dumb. And so this is something that's been done with multiple other plants. I feel like the Thai constellations right now that were supposed to be rolling out like a year ago, I feel like they're being held back for a reason. I think that companies are getting smart and they're like, oh, if we just give people what they think they want, then it will be cheap. And we don't want that. We want things to sell for expensive because companies want to make money, which is fine. Companies can want to make money, but calling something rare when it isn't. And that's really hard for me too, because I have old videos when plants used to be more rare, like when Monstera albo actually like felt like it was rare. It's not anymore now. But if you watch a video and you don't check the date, you might be walking around, like I might be injecting this thinking into you that these things are rare when they're not, because you're only watching old content or you're only watching old videos. And that's something that's like really hard for me right now. And it's like, should I even call plants this anymore? Because these videos are gonna age. Like sure, right now these videos make sense, but it's gotten to the point where my old videos are starting to get a lot more views, and I don't want people to develop the wrong ideas because I was wrong about something, or because something isn't evergreen, it's gonna change, right? That's something that's been really hard for me. Is this idea of like false scarcity and people thinking that things are hard to get and so they're paying more when really they're just getting scammed. And things aren't that expensive. And if they looked a little bit harder or went to the grocery store, they'd be able to find a begonia maculata whitei for $5 instead of 50. The shopping addictions, this is a thing. I used to definitely have a houseplant shopping addiction. I was not able to control what I spent my money on. What if I can't find it again? Like, that was how I rationalized everything. And like, don't get me wrong, I had the money to spend on the plants. It wasn't like I was like eating myself into financial debt and ruin. I've never done that. But I definitely could have saved a lot more money instead of spending all my money on plants, which is fine. If you want to spend all your money on plants, you can. But it's really important to be mindful of developing a shopping addiction, because I mean, it really got to the point where I was just got sad, went and buy a plant, was bored, went and bought a plant. These things are not financially healthy, and over time they can become really corrosive, especially to your finances as well as to your mental health. This is not going to go well in the future. Trust me, I know. I definitely had a shopping addiction. I think I'm going to make a whole separate video on that because I think it's really interesting, and I always wanted to deny that like I had one. I think one of my friends, Caitlin, she talked about how she felt like she had developed an addiction and she wasn't going out to eat with her boyfriend because she'd rather buy a plant. And I think that shopping addictions in the plant community are incredibly common. And again, I think that all of that stems really from, I want happiness. I am sad. I want to be happy. This person is happy. This person is happy because they bought this plant. I want to be happy. I'm going to buy that plant. And it becomes this cycle of seeking happiness. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it. You buy a plant, a wish list plant, or maybe you found one in a trade or something, and then you get it, and it's like all of a sudden, all the joy is gone. It's not about the plant. It was about getting the plant. It was about finding the plant. This last month that I haven't been posting, I have been really trying to spend a lot of time with my plants to get to know them again, because I love that certain plants are pretty. But it's like, do I actually like the plant? I've really had to take some time and be like, oh my gosh, my camera. I really had to take time and been like, do I actually like this plant, or was I just told to like this plant and other people were happy with it, and so therefore I will be happy with it? And this is a plant I actually do love, have loved for a long time. But I've definitely gotten rid of a lot of plants this month because a lot more plants than I already had gotten rid of, because I realized I didn't actually like them. I just felt like I was supposed to. I saw someone else be happy with it, and it's a harder plant to get, so I might as well hold on to it. Like, what kind of thinking is that? If something doesn't make you happy, you shouldn't have it. If something doesn't make you happy when after you've bought it, now you're just sad and looking for the next thing to buy, that thing didn't make you happy. You just wanted something to do. Again, classism, it's a very subconscious, unconscious underlying idea that if you can't be in the plant community if you can't buy something, right? Which sounds dumb. It's like, plants aren't classist, they're plants. It's the community is classist. If you can't afford to be in the community, it's pretty hard to be in the community. You know what I mean? Like art class in high school, like, oh, you want to take art class? Well, you have to spend $200 on all these supplies, and hopefully maybe the school can buy them for you, but they probably can't. And then if you couldn't buy those supplies, you couldn't take art. Like, at least that's how it was at my public high school. And so it's just this very like, you need to have money to do this thing, and if you don't have money, sucks. And I hate that. Another issue I think that's really real is hoarding and stockpiling. So a lot of people, and like this whole list, I could make an individual video about like every single thing on this list. But these are just like hoarding and stockpiling. I feel like it's pretty unspoken. I don't need to explain that. Unimaginable pest issues. The thing is, like, if you have all these plants and you're not taking care of them, like, you're gonna get thrips, you're gonna get scale, you're gonna get mealies. And if you are just buying plants and then not taking care of them, if you don't get joy from taking care of plants, you're probably gonna develop pest issues. And finally, bad investments. Lots of people will spend thousands of dollars. Like, if you literally go onto like a Facebook collector page and someone's like, hey, I wanna start a rare plant business. Collectors are like, don't, because by the time you grow out what's popular right now, it is not going to be popular in a year when you finally get all those propagations done, or 2 or 3 years when all the propagations are finally done. Like it is so hard. Like, you should sell common plants that people will love all the time, plants that are accessible, because these are plants that people can get. If you're just selling rare plants, to predict the market's really hard, and the investments are bad. And if you choose wrong, you're losing a lot of money. Like, there's a reason that someone from the oblique community was like, hey everyone, we have to stop selling oblique. We're losing too much money. You know what I mean? So, like, the only part of the plant community that is forever is the people. That is why I joined the community originally. And I feel like I got really sidetracked with the idea of finding these cool plants and seeing them around and, oh, this is rare and this is blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm just over it, dude. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I love many plants. I still do love a lot of plants that are harder to find. Inaccessible plants. And I've started calling them inaccessible because of Bushy Lady over on Instagram. I'll link that. They have been really helpful for me to like unlearn a lot of what I feel like was toxic behaviors and privilege issues when it came to things. Like, I never ever thought of the community previously as being gatekept from people who can't afford to buy plants, but it's like, yeah, that makes sense. How can you do this if you don't have the money? Well, it's kind of hard. And I know that sounds really dumb, but like, there's lots of people out there who don't feel like they're a part of the community, and I'm sure people watching, because they can't buy XYZ plant. They don't have that plant, so therefore they don't feel like they're a part of it, which is sad. And if you are watching and you're like that, you are a part of the community. You do not need to own any specific number of plants. You don't need to own the craziest plants in the world. Like, if you love plants, even just gardening out, like, you're a plant mom, you're a plant dad, you're a plant parent, okay? You don't need this idea. You don't need what is making other people happy. You need what makes you happy. People in the community are what make me happy. That's why I joined the community, was I found like a family again and made me feel loved and cared about, and still do. When I didn't post like this whole month, I was just freaking flooded with messages like, Ashley, are you okay? Like, I miss you. Where are you? Like, where? And I haven't responded to any of them because I just can't right now. But the sentiments there, like, there are people out there that care about me that have never met me. And that makes me feel really loved and wanted and appreciated. And there are people out there that I have never met who I love dearly, thanks to the plant community. All found each other through something that they love. So why are we making it about anything more than this community? Why are we making it about who owns what and this stupid thing and hoarding and I don't know, all this stuff? This whole month has just been so exhausting and challenging for me because I've just been like challenging these ideas in my head, and I've been turning this video over in my head for more than a month now. I'm like, should I make this video? Should I not make this video? Plant community isn't as shiny and pretty as you thought it was, like, for real this time. There's some actual real societal and class issues here that are a problem, and I don't like it. The only part of the plant community that is going to stick around, that isn't going to change, is how wonderful our community is. How nice people are, how welcoming and wonderful people are. It should be about people. It should be about sharing. It should be about keeping the plants that you like. It shouldn't be about buying a plant and posting a photo on Instagram with a popular plant because whatever. Plants are going to change. They're going to filter out. There's going to be new plants that are cool. There are plants that are going to exist in this plant community that we haven't even described yet. But I feel like me in general, I've lost sight of what the point of the plant community is, which is community. It's not about getting more plants. It's like when we moved and I had to sell all those plants, I was more sad that the number of my collection went down than I was about losing specific plants. I felt like I was losing my status as a 200+ plant collector. And that isn't cool. But I would not have not even probably 3/4 of the collection I have right now if this wasn't my job. And I have the best job. It's amazing. And I just needed to take a step back and reevaluate what I wanted to do with my job. What kind of YouTuber I want to be with plants. What kind of content I want to make, what I want to put out there, and what I want to represent. This whole month has just been a really big like looking period at myself and what I want to do. Chasing unicorns won't fulfill you. People will. You're gonna get your unicorns and then you're gonna look for the next one to get. And there are times, like for me, my Ilsamanii, that is a plant I genuinely cherish every single day of my life. That plant fulfills me because I actually love it. Monstera albo does not fulfill me. I've tried caring for it, and every time I get one, I end up killing it because I just don't really care about it. I might like it again in the future, but right now I don't. You should just buy plants because you like them, not because you see other people like them. The biggest thing I've learned from this month, and the point of making this video, the literal point blank period of making this video is, it is possible to like something without needing to bring it into your collection. Just because you see a plant online that you like does not mean you need to own it. It does not mean you need to bring it into your house. I have learned to enjoy seeing other people's collections and seeing the plants that they have without being like, oh, I need that. Right now, I'm considering selling quite a few of my extremely inaccessible plants just because I feel like I can enjoy other people having them. And I'm honestly really focused on my beautiful, wonderful, like common plant collection that I have grown and that I love very dearly, that is very, very important to me. And I don't really know if I want to focus on inaccessible plants right now. You know, hard to get, hard to come by, hard to find, hard to purchase. I think right now I want to focus on this kind of stuff. It's possible to like something without needing to bring it into your home. Leave the wildflower in the field and enjoy it on your hike. You don't have to pick it and take it home with you. That's kind of what I've learned. There are plants I still want to own, plants I still want to bring in. I'm not saying don't buy plants. This isn't an inaccessible plant video. This is just like, there's nothing wrong with those plants. This is just a video saying like, hey dude, you're good enough. You don't need more plants to be a plant collector. You don't need more plants to be cool. You don't need that plant to be happy. You have to learn to be happy with what you have before you can be happy bringing anything else into your collection. Otherwise, you're just not going to be happy. And it's going to be this endless cycle of shopping and buying and hoarding and consumerism and unhealthy financial habits, possibly developing debt, and a shopping habit. And it's not going to be about the people anymore. It's going to be about buying and buying and buying and buying and then purging. And then buying and purging and binging and purging. And that's not good. And maybe some people will disagree with me. And it's hard to make this video because like I'm really good friends with lots of different shop owners. And I don't want them to watch this video and be like, wow, of course Ashley would tell people to not buy plants or tell people that rare plants are blah, blah, blah. I get it. Rare plants is like a thing and it's totally fine. And I love them. I love rare plants. I'm just not going to be calling them rare anymore because I feel like it's harmful. Anyways, that's my rant. That's my really long video rant. I've been filming for 45 minutes now, and I feel like I've said everything I wanted to say. I do want to thank ZINFF so much for sponsoring this video. These glasses are literally something I wear every single day. They are my favorite ever. I have many different styles. I love this pair. I also love Aphrodite, which is the pair I typically wear, but this is a new type of tortoiseshell. It's like a rose gold kind of tortoiseshell vibe. I think it's very wonderful. Yeah, use code Ashley to get 50% off frames or 20% off lenses. ZINFF glasses are seriously so cheap. My family's bought glasses from there. My friends use my code to buy glasses from there, and they're so comfortable. Genuinely switched from wearing Calvin Klein glasses to ZINFF glasses because it's so good. Yeah, thank you so much, ZINFF, for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much to all my patrons. I don't know why I'm saying patrons. My members who support me and have just been okay with me not even existing really in the Discord for the last month or on Instagram or anywhere. I have the best audience. I couldn't be happier with the fact that people understand that sometimes, bro, you need to stop. Like, you just need to stop. Just have been really challenging the kind of content I want to make because there's content I feel like I should make and then there's content that I actually want to make. And I think I'm done making content that I feel like I'm supposed to make, and instead I just want to make content that I actually want to make because I want to make it. I want to talk about begonias more. I want to talk about care more. I want to talk about stuff at home. I want to talk about PlanTEA. I want to challenge harmful ideas in the community and make more PlanTEA type videos where we talk about shopping habits and hoarding and like all these really challenging topics that really make you think. I like that stuff. I like commentary videos. I would like to do houseplant commentary and commentary on gardening in general. I also want to do care. I also want to keep doing shopping, and I'm just gonna be doing whatever I want. Right now, I'm not really sure how often I'm gonna be posting. I'm kind of like still figuring out what the vibe is. I think ideally I'd like to post every other day. But you guys, it's been a long break and I'm happy to be back. But if you like this video, share it. I think it's important. I think that there's a lot of really harmful ideas in the community, and I think it's time to really start like actively recognizing it and unlearning bad behaviors. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you give it a like, subscribe, and tweet me at PlanTEA. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch. Just thanks for being there for me, guys. I love you so much. Thank you again, ZINFF, for sponsoring this video and being so flexible with me. ZINFF is amazing. They are so flexible with me. They have been so flexible with me this last month of not making any content. Couldn't have asked for a better freaking sponsor of this channel, long-term sponsor, and I hope you guys like ZINFF because I genuinely love them. They're genuinely nice to me. Leave a comment. I don't know, I haven't edited a YouTube video in forever, so I'm bad at it. Thanks, I guess. And I'll see you guys in the next houseplant section. Goodbye.